So the four questions, as we have them, represents the four sons. The first question, as we say, Chochom Mahu Aimer, right? And he asked the question, Mahu Eidos Achukim V'Mishpatim, or the wise son says, what are these testimonies, statutes, and judgments? What are these? What is the meaning of this? Asher Tziva Hashem Aleinu Eschem. So we answer him about the Maktirim Achar Pesach Afikemen. We have a very strong question. If the Chochem is a wise person, why is he asking about Eidos Chukim Mishpatim? He knows about them, and then we have another question about why does the Chochem say the word Eschem? Eschem means you, right? It means, like, as the English Rebbe says, he says, he quotes the verse about the Lord that God commanded you, and that's very exclusive rather than inclusive. And so our question is, right, why doesn't the verse say, why doesn't it, instead of saying Eschem, it should say, meaning Eschem meaning you, it should say Anachnu, us, some sort of more inclusive idea. So we have to understand this question and what it and really what it's about. So we have to understand that there is a much more deeper question that he's asking. In Chassidus, in our deeper understanding, we say that what is this question really asking? This question is asking that how is it possible that our lives have changed after being given the Torah? How is it possible that our great forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who were connected to Hashem in the fullest sense, but didn't have the mitzvahs, could achieve the great heights and connect to Hashem and start the whole families of Hashem, all the family of Israel, the Bnei Yisrael. Their service was done via their intellect, by their sincerity, by their understanding. How do they, how is it that some expression says that we cannot come to, that each person should say that he should, when will he arrive at the level of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, to our holy sages? When will we come to that? When will he come to that level? But we know that the greatness that they achieve is incomparable to the greatness of what is achieved post Matan Torah, post the giving of the Torah. And the question is, what is Mahu Eidos Achukim Mishpatim? What is embedded in the teachings of the Torah, the Eidos Torah Mishpatim, that is embedded there? I just get rid of this. What is it that's embedded in the Eidos Chukim Mishpatim that allows us to achieve even more than our great forefathers? Because when he says Asher Tziva Hashem Elokeichem Eschem, right? The child is saying that's even greater, an even greater level than 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 our forefathers. So how is it, how is it possible? So we answer him. We answer him about all the teachings that Hashem has given us. We answer him and we reply that even though our forefathers did everything in a highest level of connection and sincerity to Hashem, nevertheless they weren't as yet commanded to do it. They did it from their own connection point. So their level of connection was was incomplete. But after Hashem took us out, after Hashem took us out of Egypt, and we went through the process of Matan Torah, of receiving the Torah. After receiving the Torah from Sinai, we then achieve this level of high connection to Hashem. But this is not due to our own. This is not due to our own efforts. This is because Hashem gave us the capability, gives us the keys. Hashem himself has given us the keys to be able to connect to Hashem by giving us the Torah and by saying that this is the keys, that the way that I'm allowing you to join my infiniteness to your finiteness, and through this is our connection. So the Chacham is being told that that the true depth of everything is that Hashem has guided us through his activities, even though there is the different types of mitzvahs. Even though our forefathers understood from themselves and they understood how to connect to Hashem, even though they weren't commanded to do it, they did it, and they connected to godliness that way. Their connection might have been through the Edus and through the logical laws, and even the ones which weren't logical, they connected. But their connection and our connection, right, is not limited to logic. They connected, but because Hashem allowed us to connect through his connective points, we become connected, and we become connected to God, and to be able to go even one step further. We're able to go even deeper. The Chacham is saying, I understand that there is this framework of Eidos Chukim Mishpatim. There is this framework of classes of mitzvahs, which we have now been commanded to do, which are, Eidos means testimony, Chukim means the statutes, Mishpatim, the logical laws. I understand that there is these separate differences in the frameworks. So according to our logic, perhaps we need to connect to Hashem via these different parts of the framework. Nevertheless, we are capable of joining in a total sense, in a complete sense, to the highest level that our forefathers couldn't do it. So we Hashem tells us that we in fact do connect in the highest point, as much as you know, whether we the halachas are that whether we understand or whether we understand the depth of it or the lack of the depth of it, whether we understand the full depth or lack of depth, our connection to Hashem is similar to every single other Jew, whether we understand it or whether we don't understand it. Whether we understand the Eidos, the Chukim Mishpatim, we're totally connected, and we connect to godliness. So then the Chacham then says, the continuation of that idea is that the wise son says, in that case, why do I need to? Why is there a need to connect? If I'm anyway connected, why do I need to have these different frameworks? Why is it that God's greatness has to descend into these different levels of differentiation? But so we answer that because even the smallest detail of Ein Maftirim Akar Pesach Afikomen, even the smallest detail about the idea of not eating after the dessert of the Afikomen is important in our connection, because Hashem wants to have his revelations expressed in the natural world, in the world where things are constrained. So in the end, the Chacham is being told that we need to internalize the transcendent aspect that exists in the connection to Hashem, but we have to take that transcendent aspect and bring it down and connect to all the different frameworks of the Jewish religion in the most deepest sense. And this is how we can experience God. We have to experience God. We have to experience God in all the different natural ways, in the Eidos, in the testimonies and the statutes and the mishpatim. We have to experience God in all these connecting, even though we connect in our essence level to Hashem in the high, equally in all of these in its essence. Nevertheless, in the natural way of understanding, we need to appreciate it, and we need to become to our personalized experience in the different areas how we live and how we live in our soul. So we need to transcend it, but then bring it down into our ordinary lives, and experience it all as one, as a integrated person. So we need to internalize the transcendent stuff, the exalted stuff, and then bring it inside of ourselves. We'll conclude with that idea, and wish wish you that you have a good day and a good preparation for Pesach.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you so much.
Okay.
See you soon.